Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew who are always ready for a whale of a good time.
Nice.
We have Commander Hawk and Captain Giraffe. Prodigy is finally back. How we doing?
We are doing really good now that Prodigy's back.
Yeah.
And I managed to mute me before I was sneezing right at the intro. So I'm very proud of myself.
That's awesome. That's great timing on your part. That's sweet. If you're wondering where Vice Admiral Eric is tonight, he ate too many of those burnt replicator hot dogs coming out of that star base. Who knows where those hot dogs come from anyway? I think they come from your poo, as Admiral Vance would say. On Star Trek Discovery. Hot bananas, hot dogs. He will join us. If you're listening on Friday, right on Friday, he'll join us later tonight on the Lower Decks live stream. So not to worry, he'll be okay. A lot to get to, guys. Our Prodigy shows are back this week. It is back from its mid-season break. With it, Dahl and the team are looking to reach Starfleet finally. They've proto-jumped all the way, I think, close to the Alpha Quadrant, if not the edges of either the Delta or Beta Quadrants. Not quite sure where they are.
Well, I remember
it's all Greek to me.
Yeah, they're at the farthest relay station that Starfleet has ever posted.
There you go. So they're looking for that. They eventually do find it. What happens when the Protostar does roll up on that relay station and does request Asylum? How does the hidden weapon that's kind of stowed underneath the Protostar put everything they want to do in jeopardy? And why is Dahl's species hidden at Starfleet Command? That's the big question. Finally, with Gwyn's memories back, what does she realize about said weapon above or below decks? Whichever way you want to go, maybe in the lower decks. We break that all down, but first, Giraffe, it is your turn again.
Yay.
Short week. Actually, I don't think it's a short week. Eric wouldn't have gone because it's your turn anyway. So we need to thank our Patreon Collective members at the Ready Room level and above.
Thank you, dear patrons. Thanks to Simon Stagger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Kang Hui, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Lindemann, Colin Davidson, Alan Davis, Shadowhand 2049, Jesco, MC Frodes, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Raul, Summer, Richie, supporter of Ghoulies' Rights, Megalites, fighting fascism is a full-time job. Wayne Ritz, Konavark, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Yordadon, Mahalani, Uchiyama, Matt Harker, and Joshua Lewis.
I feel like that list is just so long now. We love our patrons. You guys rock. Giraffe, I don't know if you have any news, but I'll just say the quick bit of news that I have. If you're listening to this right when the episode drops at noon on Thursday, I think I said Friday earlier about Eric coming back. That would be wrong. It would be a Thursday. If you're listening to this live on Thursday, right when we drop it, today is your last day to pre-order our awesome Uhura pins. The proceeds of those pins are going to Girls Who Code. That order is going to be placed either at the end of this week or on Monday. So get your orders in so you could be among the first to get them. We will have a limited quantity available after we get them. So get those orders in and help Girls Who Code, which is an awesome organization. Anything on your front, Giraffe?
I just wanted to say thank you for all our amazing patrons and collective member and my co-hosts who join us on Saturday at the companion, for our talk. Yay! Whoop, whoop, whoop.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
It was.
Or a round table. That's what yeah. And I was so happy to so many people on the chat. And it was, I was super stressed. I'm going to be very honest because
you didn't seem stressed.
I was playing with people where I respect a lot.
Well,
so I felt like a little girl. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing something with Jesse Gender. So no, it was super cool. And
was
yeah, thank you for joining.
awesome. It was so cool. Congratulations. And the cool thing about what you said about, people that you respect a lot, guess what? They respect you a lot too. So
Aww.
I can't tell you just how amazing that was. I've told you already, but like that hit me really hard, like right in the beginning with things that were being talked about. Just like with real world events going on right now too. Really just well done by the companion. Giraffe, I think our patrons still have access to that code if they want to sign up.
Absolutely. Yeah, they can sign up on our Patreon. There's 100 days of free access to the companion, and it's super cool articles and roundtables and videos and interviews, and you have 100 days for free. So please go and enjoy.
Fantastic deal.
Yes, it is a fantastic deal.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. My favorite part of that was the story of George Takei and Nichelle Nichols.
In the hotel room. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, a story about Nichelle Nichols that I don't know. I was like, what? Because I got everything in advance because we had to watch the interview before and know which clip we're gonna talk about. And when I watched it, I was like, I had never heard that story.
Oh,
That's
wow.
such a cool story.
That's
yeah.
really cool. Nice. Yeah, definitely use your free year of the companion. It is absolutely worth it. I'm gonna say one thing.
I want to say that we get nothing out of it.
Nothing.
I'm not getting paid by the companion. We really like it, so that's why.
Yep, exactly. I'm just gonna point it out right now. If you think I'm looking a little disheveled or big bearded, this is what those in the U.S. and maybe other countries call a playoff beard. I'm gonna break to sports for 1 second and 1 second only. The Philadelphia Phillies, the Fightins are in the World Series. This beard is only gonna get bigger until the World Series is over, and the Philadelphia Union are 1 game away from MLS Cup. So it's a big time to be a sports fan in Philly. The sports talk is over. I just needed to bring that up. I'm going to look like a mess for another couple of weeks. Yay, sports.
Go team.
Go Niners. Go Niners.
Go
Niners. Let's get to the Strange New Loop. I hope you guys read this one.
I did.
That eyebrow says it all. With Lower Decks and now Prodigy, guys, there's always like a lot of homage that gets paid to Star Trek, past, present, not really to the future yet. The Lower Decks has started poking fun at itself already, which is really fun. If you were writing an episode of either of these shows, how would you pay homage to an episode or film in your cold open?
I had an idea.
Go ahead, Hawk.
All right. So it was that episode in TNG when it opens with Data on the holodeck, and it's him and Picard is teaching him Shakespeare and that. I think he has him playing King Lear.
Yep.
I would love to do a cold open on Lower Decks like that with the four of them. Somebody's trying to teach them Shakespeare and that, but they just keep bitching, and Mariner's just like, why are we doing this? This language sucks.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Giraffe.
Okay, that's first of all a very hard question. Quick thinking. I'm like, what is the most badass moment in Star Trek that I would like to reproduce that nobody ever did again? And I think it's the Lorelei signal, where all the men are incapacitated, and Uhura takes command of the Enterprise and leads a whole women team to go save the nerds who are being like kidnapped by sirens or whatever. And I think it would be a super fun episode to do, even if now we see so many all women away teams. I think that I'm taking command of the Cerritos would be like super fun.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Mine is Lower Decks themed as well. It would be Mariner and Boimler moment, and I would combine a little bit of Enterprise and a little bit of Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, where Brad Boimler would volunteer and personally vouch for Mariner for the annual Starfleet water polo tournament, and they would get into it. And Mariner, Boimler, like, yeah, it'd be so much fun. I personally vouched for you. And Mariner would be like, you personally vouched because Mariner would be like, what the heck, man? Like, what are you doing? That whole moment between Spock and Kirk from Star Trek 6. So a great way to combine both of those. And then it cuts to the personally vouched to them like water poloing and maybe like Mariner like spiking a ball and breaking someone's nose. It would be great.
Okay,
Cue credits.
we need to have a pact that water polo needs to never come back to Star Trek.
What are you
think
talking
it's
about?
a
Water polo is so much
PSA.
fun to watch on the Olympics. It's great.
Okay, sure, but like I think it was the poorest choice that they ever took in Star Trek. Like water polo, like what?
Is that even still a sport?
I mean,
I
it
mean,
was
it
in
is,
Archer's
yeah.
time, and it is here. It's an Olympic sport.
Yeah, but it's just like a weird flex, It's just like you're gonna like think that audiences are gonna identify to the captain because he likes water polo. It is such a weird
I mean,
choice.
it wouldn't make me like the captain any more or any less, but I'd respect his flex of that being his favorite sport.
In space.
Maybe not
In space.
In space.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want, email us what your answer to this strange loop would be, and maybe we'll read it on next week's show. So these were good answers. That was good. Quick thinking draft. I like it.
Always.
Moving right along tonight, let's get into our review of, I almost said Lower Decks because that's where we've been, but a review of Prodigy episode 111. It is the mid-season premiere, Asylum. Our order tonight will be Hawk Giraffe, followed by myself. Prodigy doesn't really do cold opens. It always starts with the credits first, but this still kind of like was a cold open. So let's briefly talk about the whale chase. This was a really fun way to open the episode. The team know that when they finally do reach Starfleet and they roll up in the Protostar, their most advanced starship ever, be a lot of questions being asked about how these kids got it. So they're racking up all the good deeds, as Dahl says, that they possibly can. What did we think about this opener, Hawk?
I love the opener. I love that they kind of they rack up good deeds as a way to offset the possibility that they stole the ship, which I don't think they really did. They liberated it.
They liberated it. I like that. I like that word.
I don't know why they don't realize that, but yeah. I love the whole underwater scene. It was really beautifully animated. This is one of the treats of Prodigy, and that is every episode is just beautifully animated, and this no less so. In that an entire underwater sequence, these weird kind of sea monkey kind of species and that are hunting a big whale. I guess that's a huge nod to Star Trek 4.
Oh, it's totally a nod to Star Trek 4. Yeah.
And definitely a little bit of a nod to Into Darkness, and that the facial design of the creatures and that looked exactly like the species and that they were running from at the beginning. So fantastic cold open.
Yeah. Giraffe.
Beautiful animation. It was so flawless. The movement, the colors, everything, gorgeous. It just, they're like, okay, we're back here.
Yeah.
I'd really like to know how long it takes them to animate that sequence with all the color, the movement, because the movement in water. I mean, I suppose there's a lot that goes into a sequence like that. Gorgeous. Then I was like, it's a bit fun because they're not supposed to be seen, but there's no way they are not seeing that. It's like, what? So I was like, are they cloaked? I thought way too much about this thing, and I was like, yeah, it just doesn't, it's okay, just move on.
It's
Giraffe.
a kid's
it's
show.
gonna be fine. It's a kid's show.
I think it's that they're trying to, but they're not, they don't have the training in that, so they ended up showing off the Protostar to the
it's kind of
civilization.
the kids hiding themselves and being like, you can't see me, and just closing their eyes,
playing hide and seek and telling your parents where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Just to be sure. I mean, you never know. But I do think to come back to what you were saying, that they keep saying they stole the Protostar, but think of their upbringing. They have no sense of owning, and they have no sense of having anything for them. They had to steal anything they wanted, and even I don't know, the food was in a terrible situation. Even when you see them in the first season eating, they don't know what to order. So I suppose that they cannot really conceive the fact that they did something good by taking the Protostar, because if you've never owned everything stealing, kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I think it matches the mindset in which they are, which is sad, but I think is cool. I don't know.
No, it's that's a great point. I love this moment too because it goes along with what you're saying. Like they don't know any better, and they are kind of like skirting the rules and like getting that close to breaking the Prime Directive because they just like they don't know any better, but they think that they're doing good, and they are doing good. They do relocate the whale who is pregnant, and they're gonna have more baby whales. Like it's a great moment, and I love that they're trying to do
It's
some
a
good.
baby whale.
It's a baby whale, yeah. So Rock is so cute, and it is a huge nod to Into Darkness too because you have like the Protostar like leaving, and then you see like the alien like look up, and then when they get back onto the Protostar, Janeway has that kind of Spock moment where Spock says it to Kirk in Into Darkness like. You almost broke the Prime Directive. In Kirk's case, he does break the Prime Directive, but it's just like one of those great nods. Like all these little nods to past Trek is always awesome, and this was a great way to open this episode. This is all leading to them finally getting into Starfleet territory. They arrive at this deep space comms relay, and when it does arrive, they dock. How cool was the umbilical? It's just like a holographic umbilical. I love that they do that in Discovery too. It's so cool. It's dope.
I mean, it's terrifying, but
It's
cool.
terrifying, but awesome. I don't usually agree with Janko, but Janko taking a step and be like, I don't know. I would be that way too. When they get there, the lights slowly turn on, and they're greeted by like this very hermity Starfleet officer who I believe is a Denobulan.
He looks it, right?
Yeah, he does look like a Denobulan.
Really looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah. He takes their request for asylum and begins to scan them into the Starfleet system. Gwyn doesn't register, obviously, but
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. But when Dahl goes through, Frex, which is the officer's name, gets a warning to report that to Starfleet Command because apparently Starfleet knows what Dahl is, or they know something. Thoughts, guesses?
I guess the first thought is like it appears that it's a classified inquiry, obviously, reported directly to Starfleet. Starfleet obviously has some sort of knowledge of the species, and it might even consider the species dangerous. And I'm thinking it might have something to do with the Voyager's explorations, and that's something that we didn't see in the series, and that, and possibly,
ooh, interesting.
Possibly they encountered this race and had trouble with them.
The baby salamander. They evolved.
Oh my God! What if he was the evolution of the salamander? Holy shit! Wait for it! Wait for it!
Lizard babies.
There it is.
I mean, I said that jokingly, but if it happens, I'll take it as the giraffe was right. So
You should. Keep going, Hog.
Other than that, like it's still a mystery, like who about because we really didn't get any answers to it this episode. So
yeah, for sure. Draft.
Okay, so I have to like give a warning that if it's a way to bring back Brent Spiner yet again to the yet again.
He's an
What's
android.
his name? Sung. Yeah. And like say like, oh, it's like a genetic like experiment or I don't know what. I'm gonna scream, and I really want to know if that's the case. What Brent Spiner has on Paramount, I need to know. But but yeah, I think they're gonna go something like, I don't think he's a species, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he's an experiment or like a result of trying to save somebody, or I don't know. I think he's alone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but I think he has no people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that out there.
I like that. I like that. And part of the reason I love this show is I have no idea. I am clueless. I'm like, whatever little hints they've maybe sprinkled, I have not picked up on yet. And I really like that. So like I don't have any guesses. Thoughts? I love that, once again, Starfleet has some secret. We've been dealing with secrets in Lower Decks. We've been dealing with secrets in other shows and Strange New Worlds with like Illyrians and Discovery. Like I love secrets, and we live for secrets in Star Trek. And
I think there are hints. Like the fact that even the murder planet cannot find the face of his parents, and
Right.
digging
No,
into
there's
his
hints
like
for sure. And I
psyche
like
and
I
stuff.
really like your alone theory. I do think that experiment is a good theory. Anything else on Doll before we move on? Good. Um, so later on, Zero has Gwyn in a chamber, trying to get her memories back, and Frex starts to transfer the Protostar's files onto the relay station to see what they've been up to, so that Starfleet could be up to date. So then the virus that's been sleeping in the underbelly of the Protostar starts uploading to the station, and it causes the relay station to turn on itself. Now, I'm just going to segue real quick into what the hell is a comms relay station doing with that? I swore I will edit that out. What the heck is a comms relay station doing with that much firepower? Like, I'd really like to know. I know, like maybe in case like enemies want to destroy it, but that's a lot of firepower. So yeah, it starts firing on itself. Frex immediately blames the poor kids, like a bunch of kids have the ability to sabotage a star base like that. And he takes the only escape pod, leaving Doll and Coda not only have to space jump, but it kind of puts their whole first meeting with Starfleet in shambles. How do you guys feel about how this whole situation played out, Hawk?
Well, while I was excited about the possibility of the kids like him, finally entering Starfleet and that after all this time, I was a little sad to think that they weren't going to get to run the Protostar anymore in that, because this crew's obviously it's taken shape and that, and it would be
They
disappointing.
have their biker outfits. It's beautiful.
But they
cycling outfits, I should say.
They would be split up definitely in that. It's like once they enter, they probably wouldn't have seen each other in that for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So obviously as a viewer, we knew that something was going to happen that would require them hanging on to the Protostar and that, and not being able to rendezvous with actual Starfleet members and that. And in this case, we find out that they have something aboard the ship and that seems to be, dangerous to whoever tries to communicate with it.
Anybody, any Starfleet vessel, base, anything Starfleet that this uploads.
Yeah.
Communicate. Yeah.
So I didn't really anticipate that direction that it was going, and like this weapon kind of being specifically targeting Starfleet. That's a really neat touch, because it means like they, I think going forward they're gonna have to play a big game of keep away with the Protostar and that, because like if they try to make contact with Janeway company or anybody from Starfleet and that, it's the weapon's going to do the same thing to them.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
So even still, I was really, it's a little sad at the end, because like Rock Talk, especially, she was so looking forward to it when she found out how many sciences that there were for her to explore.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
So first of all, I was convinced that the officer was named Frakes, like Jonathan Frakes. I thought it was super cool. And then I see it's not written like that at all, but I have no subtitles. So, I like go with what I hear. But I'm like, oh, they named him after Jonathan Frakes. Okay. Sorry, I'm blanking. What is the question? Oh, the warning.
How do you guys feel?
Okay. Sorry. So I think it's an elegant way to keep the plot going, to be honest. Okay, because like how long can they be far from the Alpha Quadrant with a ship that can go like that fast? So I think it's a very, very elegant way for them to have to choose to stay away and add the conundrum and so on. But then that's where I have a problem with trailers, because I know from the trailer that they can't even communicate, because it's what we see in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
They can't answer the hail.
Yep.
And so it kind of add like some, I don't know, leave a message, like something. And then for the station being like having that firepower, I was like, is that the neutral zone? Like what's going on?
Right.
Like, I mean, like I can imagine a station at the neutral zone having like that kind of
the neutral zone, or like if it's in the Delta Quadrant, like dealing with the Borg, maybe. But yeah,
even like what are you going to deal with the Borg with?
And
like
they do come face to face with the Borg in the next episode. So I mean, that could be an issue for sure.
And can we discuss the fact that like Starfleet just like dumps one person in like, but Sorry,
No.
edit me. Like, can we discuss the fact that Starfleet just dumps one person in like the middle of nowhere by themselves on a station? Like, what?
You couldn't even leave like a Sung type android with the poor guy. Like that's the way to bring Brett Spiner back, you know?
My only explanation is that possibly they, because if this character was a denobulant and that maybe they have the mental fortitude not to, tough it out on their own.
This
but
guy did not have the mental fortitude.
basically
Nah.
Starfleet is ignoring like, hundreds of years of like the psychological effects of isolation. on people.
But we see it over and over again. Like we see Scotty on Delta Vega by himself. Well, he's not by himself, but like
He's got
kind of by
Keenzer,
himself.
yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, come on. And that guy was by himself in the station. We see it in Discovery. That guy was like, well, we know by the books that he's not alone, but it's weird. It's like the keeper of the lighthouse or something, and it's in
That's
the
what it
future.
is. That's exactly what it
But
is.
two
Yeah.
person then maybe
know.
2% is worse because I think at one point you're gonna hate the other person.
Yeah.
a la the lighthouse.
Oh, the lighthouse. Oh boy.
Yeah.
This guy obviously, and he mentions it like, oh, where are they going to send me next? He's obviously on the fritz. He's like blue shirt, old man, Lieutenant grade Jean-Luc Picard, who could not advance his career and keeps getting sent to like the worst possible stations. I gotta say that I didn't love the way that this panned out. And there's reasons why I can't quite talk about yet, but this is the first example of this. And it's like, I don't like that their first encounter with Starfleet is a guy like Frex, who is, listen, he's unstable. Like, he's an unstable dude. A guy like Frex being like, it's all your fault, and I'm ditching you. There's room in those escape pods for all. I mean, Rock is really big, but there's room in the escape pod, and you leave them behind. I don't like that is their first interaction with Starfleet. I know that it advances the plot and the story, but it just didn't feel right.
But
I don't know.
imagine if, like, again, that gives me neutral zone vibe, in the idea that you have like 5 kids, I mean, I don't know, 4 kids showing up, like unknown species for 2 of them. One, like, there's a lot of red flags going on.
But they're wearing Starfleet. You know what would have solved this is I have no idea why Janeway didn't transfer her holomatrix over. Would that have also triggered the virus?
Because like it's ship to ship
maybe.
communication, right? She would have had to
Yeah.
transmit, like, any use of transmissions from that ship.
What
would-
she really needs is the doctor's holo emitter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Mobile
But
emitter.
I do think that, imagine if it was in the neutral zone, you'd be like, oh, that's a Roman plot. I'm not trusting anybody.
No, that's
Like, they're
fair.
trying
Yeah.
to like be like, that is weird, you know?
Or like their
Um,
Herodian holograms if it's the Delta Quadrant or something, right? But Starfleet has a bad tendency to put unstable people in, like, listen, if this is the furthest freaking, relay station, that's like, I feel like an important job. And you have this guy doing it?
on his own.
Come on. So
But,
I
mean, we're like post-wars. Do they have the personnel? Like, I don't know. I don't feel it's
no, they don't.
absolutely
You're right. You're bringing up
outrageous.
another great point. They're post-war. There's a lot of paranoia in Starfleet at this point. I understand why it went this way. I just didn't like that it went this
Oh, yeah,
way, is what
absolutely.
I guess I'm trying to say.
But I like the fact that Prodigy is actually respecting that
respecting the
era,
timeline of the canon, yep.
that era of paranoia in Starfleet,
Yep.
and all this with Utopia Planitia and all this, like all that, like that's
Yep.
what's gonna like lead to a breakdown of the Federation, basically.
Yeah, great point. This leads to the whole space jump thing and Rock doing the whole like math, on the screen thing. What's
Oh.
that card movie? In Vegas, it's not Rounders. I forget the name of the movie.
Oh,
But you see the card math being done on the screen, and then like a bunch of movies mocked it. Anyway, it's a good movie, and I can't remember its name.
I think it was Kevin Spacey and Justin Timberlake. I think.
Yeah, no, it was Kevin Spacey and the kid from Across the Universe, whose name I can't
What?
remember now. Yeah. Anyway, This leads to them space jumping. They miss. They almost start floating away, but Janeway gets that tractor beam on them, leading to Gwyn's memories return. Now we know this from the trailer, which is, kind of let down because we did find out that she gets her memories back that way. It kind of sucks. What do you guys think about this? Was it too soon? Did we need an arc with Gwyn not having her memories? Like, how do you feel about this, Hawk?
I think it's important, probably going forward for at least the plot, and that she got her memory back sooner rather than later on. And that, it's like, because they've just got an example of what this weapon can do, and I think they needed to fill in the missing pieces, and that, like, this weapon is specifically, designed to target Starfleet technology, and once it makes any sort of contact, it's just gonna, fuck shit up. Sorry, I swore. I swore.
I do it again.
So once it makes contact with any sort of Starfleet technology, that's it, done for. So I'm actually kind of glad they got this out of the way and got her memory back. At least like they're on some sort of a sure footing, and that has had a, like in having to proceed and having to deal with this, because they have a lot of complications thrown at them, these poor kids.
They sure do. Draft.
Yeah, I think again, elegant writing. You know what? They get to destroy a space station, so we can see what the virus can actually do.
Fair.
So we know the warning is warranted, and it's a real problematic weapon. It's not just a warning, something that they imagine. It actually is here. I do think that they could have like dragged it a little bit
right?
longer.
Like a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and she could like get back pieces. So like,
You
there
know
was
what
a
would have
bit of
been really
suspense.
cool if they did it in the Borg episode? Like what if they wrote it
Oh,
where,
that's
like,
what I had said. That's
right?
why,
Like
I
what if
imagine.
Gwyn had to join the collective for some reason, right? And that's how like they were reawakened because everything just like floodgates.
Yeah.
That would have been a really cool way to do it.
Ooh, that would have.
Yeah, that's when we were talking about it. I said like I imagine that's how she's gonna
Yeah.
regain her.
Yeah.
And no, see,
No.
hire me.
Hire
Good
us.
ideas.
Hire this. Hire this.
But okay, again, we're not the targeted audience, to be honest, and
Nope.
I don't know how long kids would be interested in the fact that she doesn't have her memories
Or even
anymore.
remember, if we're being honest, right? Like,
Yeah.
And that's why they have lines at the beginning of the episode, like with Zero, like, I'll do anything to help you get your memories back. That's for the kids. So yeah.
Yeah.
I have, I've been thinking about this question all day. Really, I have. And I've gone back and forth whether it's too soon or not. And I'm like, at this point, I actually don't think it is too soon. It works like Dra says. It's elegant writing. I wish it had been in the Borg episode. That being said, to reveal it at the New York Comic Con trailer was just really bad marketing. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, I would have been like, oh, dang, okay, that's whoa. But now I was just like, yeah, okay, all right, let's move on. But yeah,
Can we just like give a round of applause for Rock Talk being amazing, because that was some yes. Such an incredible character, and we kind of forget that she's older than all of them now.
yeah,
intellectually, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she has so much to like catch up and be able to prove, and I like the fact that they're so confident in her and supporting her and telling her, let's go, you can do it. See, women in STEM, girls with code, let's go.
Girls with code,
Buy the
order your
pin.
Ahura pin. Nice.
And I like the fact too that she doesn't succeed. I think it's a good
Agreed.
a good lesson.
Yep.
Like, you can try and you can be very good, and sometimes you can fail.
And she got
and people will still
really
trust you.
freaking close.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really close. I mean, and they all say at the end, like, you are the reason we're alive. We couldn't have done that. So
Yeah.
great point.
So great again, great character development. I think Rock is my favorite right
I
now,
love
just
Rock.
I know.
because of this thing that she is older, and I like the mind complexity of having a character like this with them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the emotional core is still like that lovable kid, you know? It's like
Yep.
she had baby.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
cute.
but yeah, like Time and Mock, right, is the name of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is I think one of the best episodes they've written.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Mhm.
Um, let's talk about the brief like last minute of this episode. We meet Janeway and her crew. David Diggs plays that awesome Andorian who is Janeway's number one. The Trill ensign is Jamil, and the how the no, I was gonna say tardigrade, and that would be so wrong. Tellarite is Jason Alexander. So that's Janeway's crew. Um, they find Tars Lamora and the Diviner. Cool twist or a big uh-oh. Yeah, Hawk?
Cool twist. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna like, because you know he is in a probably even worse situation than Gwyn was in that, because
Yep.
he got the full Medusan experience in that from Zero.
That should be a shirt. The
Full
Medusan
medicine
experience.
experience. I don't remember a thing.
All I
And
got
I've-
was this lousy t-shirt and I don't remember a thing.
and I've gone quite mad.
Yep.
So yeah, and now like in Janeway has no idea who this person is.
Nope.
So like, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens if he actually regains consciousness on the ship.
Giraffe.
I think it's interesting because we see that Gwyn comes back from it very fast. So I wonder if they're not some kind of immune like the Vulcans.
Well,
Like,
to be
not
fair,
totally
Gwen
immune, but
only
like,
saw it through a reflection.
yeah, but still,
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like-
Yeah.
you know, she comes back from it like she bounces from it kind of. So I wonder if there's not some kind of healing that they're able to do from
Yeah.
this, so that is gonna come back. Um, for me, cool twist. I mean, yeah, it's a cool twist, but I don't like when stories do that. When there's gonna be like these long misunderstanding and like we know but they don't know and they're trying to figure out and they figure out piece by piece. I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't like it so much.
Yep.
Because I imagine
agree
maybe it's gonna
completely.
slowly recover and Janeway's gonna try to piece things together until she realizes he's a villain and it's gonna be too late. And I'm gonna have to wait through that whole arc, knowing how it's gonna end and waiting for everybody to figure things that I already know. And I don't like this situation as a viewer at all. That's like the kind of thing I don't like.
It's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
It
I
is.
don't like it's exactly like in Lower Decks, in the fact that if they just talk, they would have known everybody was making a mistake. You
Yep.
know, that Mariner didn't say anything bad. And I'm just like, just talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, cool twist. Yeah, sure. But I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yep. Any final thoughts on the mid-season premiere of Star Trek Prodigy? Anyone?
It was a perfect way of bringing it back. It's like action filled. You know, it knew its plot, you know, where it wanted to go, and that it found a way to, you know, keep the kids in the ship and the ship away from Starfleet for the rest of the season. So, yeah, it was just, and I'm just glad it's back.
Yeah.
I think it was a great episode. I know it's a mid-season premiere, but we had 10 episodes and we're gonna have 10 more. So that's okay, but I don't like these mid-season breaks. Prodigy, I feel, may have been written this way, so maybe it's better and it cuts at the moment that it makes sense. But when we see what they did for Discovery, I think they're really damaging their shows with these mid-season breaks. So I don't like this.
I
so
think
much.
I still don't understand why Discovery did that, but that's a tale for another day.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, for me it really it just felt like another episode. It didn't, you know, it was good. It didn't, you know, it didn't like do it as like a season premiere for me. It was just like, okay, This is just the continue of the story. Having said that, it worked. It was good. So no,
I have
no,
a question
no real
for
complaints.
you.
Yeah.
As a father of kids
Yeah.
who watch Prodigy,
Yep.
wouldn't it have been better to have just like 20 episodes in a row for the kids?
Yeah, of course it was, but I think that listen, if you want to like go into the technicalities and like theories, I think that season 1 was 10 episodes. And I think that they just decided that what they had already started for season 2, they're like, we're just going to make that season 2. So, I mean, more of season 1. So I don't think that this was originally the plan. I think it was just 10 episodes and that this episode was going to be 201, but they changed scheduling around and stuff. So it's just one
because
long
if they
season.
could do,
yeah.
if they can do a season that starts in September and run through the school year, I think for kids that would be so much better to follow the story.
I completely agree. And listen,
like we
if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, Aaron, Nami, you score, you could tell me, like, you know how you get the episodes of what the plan was. If that wasn't the plan, I would gladly like to know and be wrong. But that's honestly what I think happened. I think Paramount's just like, let's just keep it as one season. And that way that gives you more time to work on season 2. Let's get into the Easter egg. And speaking of the kids, we're maybe going to have the kids on to talk about their thoughts on this episode. It didn't work out with Eric being sick. And then my daughter had to paint a pumpkin for the pumpkin contest at school. So
she had to paint a pumpkin.
Priorities. The kids will be on in a future episode or two for sure. So be prepared for Cecily and Kateri deep thoughts on Star Trek Prodigy. Easter egg hunt. Who's got them before I go down my list? Anybody?
Nothing really jumped out at me in that. I mean, the only thing that was bugging me was the race of Freck, and I think we kind of nailed it down. He's Denobulan. That's nothing Easter egg wise really jumped out at me.
Draft.
I think that the only thing that made me laugh is like the bottle of champagne in space.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Why are they doing this again?
That was a bottle of Chateau Picard. It was red.
It's so ridiculous. It's in what movie that they do that?
Generations. That's on the list.
Yeah, I'm just
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's the only one. I mean, we didn't speak of. No, there's one more. There's Murph.
Murph. What's the Easter egg with Murph?
Oh, would they identify his species?
Yeah. They
some kind of worm.
Species.
A mycelium slime word.
And it's a ref to an insult in TNG. Somebody calls Wesley a mycelium slime word. Like it's like a very deep cut. I was like, what is this?
Is the mycelium thing a hint too to like spores?
No, it's not mycelium. It's not mycelium. Okay. I'm gonna go to Easter egg and I'm gonna look it up.
The other ones that I had were when Frex was like, where are they going to send me next? I don't want to go to Nimbus 3. Nimbus 3, the planet of freedom from Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier. The cold open, obviously, we already talked about. Giant tribute to Voyage Home and Into Darkness. That's it. Weren't many other Easter eggs.
melanoid slime worm, and it's a ref from coming of age in the Next Generation, and it's an insult that is thrown like
there you go.
In the episode. And I'm just can I say that I'm disappointed by that at least? I think that everybody's idea that it was like the gel pack that became sentient from
was
Voyager and the cheese.
Right?
What is an insane idea that would be so funny? A slime worm from TNG. I'm like,
hey, we still don't know. We still don't know. Maybe
I mean,
right?
It gives them a lot of freedom because we don't know anything about that species, so they can do whatever they want with it. So fair enough. Yeah.
And also the flying hot dogs that the replicator were flying bananas from Lower Decks. Speaking of flying hot dogs, let's rate the mid-season premiere out of 10. Flying hot diggity dogs, Hawk.
I didn't find anything wrong with this site. I don't want to. Full disclosure, I've seen a bunch of these episodes, and I don't want to throw out like 10s at every one of them, but it's going to be very hard because they are very top quality writing. This one especially, I'm going to go a 9 out of 10 on this one. It was a great way of reintroducing us back to them. And even though this is like a mid-season, restart, it feels like a whole new arc for them. So I'm going 9 out of 10.
Nice. Giraffe.
So I have not watched the I want to say that. I think it was a good episode. It was a bit easy on some things. went a little bit fast. So I'd say 8.5 out of 10. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
It didn't blow my mind.
Y'all are making me feel bad. I was gonna go with a 7, but I'll go with an 8. This is a good episode. It's a fun way to come back.
Mhm.
It was good. It was good. It didn't blow me away. It was just it did. You know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna say 7. It's a good episode. It did what it
Yeah.
needed to do, but it didn't blow me away. It's great to have Prodigy back, which is the most important thing.
I think I
So-
rate these higher because they do what they have to do in less than 24 minutes.
Less than 24 minutes, and for kids, I get it, but
Yeah.
it just.
And the animation is gorgeous,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
everybody is great.
Listen, I
Yeah,
have to
it's
say,
a
I do
good
like Hawk said.
episode.
I have to save some 10s as well because I've seen
Yes,
a few of these.
Because there's
so,
yeah.
Let's get to the subspace to poll and mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
Who wants the poll? The top.
I'm gonna take the poll.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay, we asked Trek Twitter which characters they are most excited to see when Prodigy returns, and this is what they said. 39% said Dal and Janeway. 32% said Guin and Zero. 3% said Jankum Pog. No love for Jankum.
poor Jankum.
Aw.
Jacob Pog.
26% said Rock Talk and Murph.
Pretty
I
even
agree.
besides Jankum. Yeah.
I
I
agree.
agree.
Well,
It's nice that it didn't skew just like completely over to like, two characters and that it's like very spread out. Everybody seems to have a favorite in this.
Yeah.
And I think that it's reflecting very well the writing. They don't know what to do with Gencom. I feel it's
They
this
don't even
character has
know what
no
to do with
arc
Jankum in the
yet.
video game. They just have him bang on things. By the way, if you haven't played it yet, Star Trek Podigy Supernova is definitely worth your money. Especially if you have kids, it's a great way to introduce kids into video games, especially on consoles. Check it out; it's a lot of fun. We're not getting paid to say that. I have it.
Yeah.
I'm playing it. I'm playing it with Cecily, and we're having a blast playing it together. I also yell at her sometimes because she doesn't catch up with me. I was like, "Walk towards me! Walk towards me! Let's go!"
I
It's fun.
have to say that I get a lot of like questions and like how do I get like paid by partners? I was like, I don't get paid.
Yeah, we don't get paid.
I
No,
all
we
this
do
for
not.
free.
We wish we did, but
We wish we
we'll-
did.
Yeah, right. We're
The
open.
patrons pay our
Listen.
podcast bills is how we get paid. That's what happens.
Yeah, and I mean they need to build an arc for Gencom. That's what it shows. No arc, no mystery, no
Yeah.
suspense for that for that character. We don't know him, and nobody really wants to know him because they have not written him yet in the story.
and they have an enormous talent voicing him. Jason
Yes, they do.
Oh my
Mantzoukas,
God!
so-
Yes.
I mean, the entire voice cast,
Totally.
if we're being honest.
Mm.
I'm gonna keep going with Haven's mailbag. We'll be absolutely surprised and have the rug. Oh, sorry. So the question was on our Discord, since they couldn't, rate the review because we're pre-recording this. What people's hopes for the back half of season 1 were, what they want to see the most. And Haven wrote, we will be absolutely surprised and have the rug pulled beneath us. Prodigy already is one of the best Trek shows we have, and while I want it to truly cement itself as the best Trek we have seen in 56 years. All right, Hawk. take
Vancouver
Vancouver
girl.
Girls.
Vancouver girl wrote, I hope we get to see more development with Admiral Janeway and maybe some other Voyager crew cameos.
Except for Robert
Tupac.
Beltran.
Tupac.
I gotta ask about Robert Beltram after we're done this. 'Cause,
Yeah, we won't talk about it anymore on the pod,
well,
but
yeah.
that's
Well,
it's a sad
we'll
day
fill
in
you in
Trek
later.
fandom. It's a
Yeah.
sad day in Trek fandom.
Mm.
Keep it going with Cassie's draft.
Cassie wrote, "Bring me the Andorian."
Love the Andorian. I love David Diggs so much. I'll keep going with Chris. Chris wrote, I'm stoked for the Admiral. Really intrigued with Dahl's growth. More rock. Definitely very interested in seeing the crew become just that, a real crew. Definitely not the worst Trek, and glad it's giving us more.
Nice.
Hawk, take us home with Collins, please.
Colin D wrote, I am intrigued to see Admiral Janeway interact with the Protostar's crew and Hollow Janeway. Don't really care what happens regarding Chakotay, but will still be interested to see whether I care that much or not. My real interest is to see how our dear Gwyn deals with her memories and how Zero helps her. Zero has been my favorite character since day one. I look forward to seeing them shine. Well, maybe not Zero shine.
Yeah,
Get
like,
it?
yeah.
Yep.
mhm.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, guys? I think that's it for our Prodigy mid-season premiere
go.
review. If you are listening on Thursday, right when we drop this, join us live later tonight on YouTube, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, for our season 3. God, we're on season 3 of Lower Decks already. Season 3 Lower Decks finale review with
And
Matthew from
what
Trek Untold.
a finale.
What a finale
What a
indeed.
finale.
What a finale. We'll have that for you. That's going to do it. We will see you next week for Hawk Giraffe. I will say, live long and prosper, Majram, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.